Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Oh, I changed the setting of my AirPods, so I can hear myself in a really weird way. Anyway, today I wanted to talk for like 10 minutes about my therapy training day yesterday. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm doing a foundation certificate in psychotherapy and counselling. Got itchy foot. And yeah, so I'm at uni doing that, and it's part-time, so I work full-time, and I do that on Saturdays. And I've got an offer, conditional offer, to carry on doing the masters, just in case you're wondering. Probably won't. Kick in the bin now. So yeah, so I think I left you yesterday at the point where I was about to start uni. So I had my lecture. My lecture was on Alfred Adler, individual psychology. Could run through very quickly. If you don't find this bit very interesting, feel free to skip through. But basically, Adler emphasised, it was a really, really cool lecture. He emphasised the unique motivations of individuals and the importance of each person's role in society. So what are some interesting little bits I could pick out? Soft determinism, influences, not causes, probabilities and possibilities, not givens. Parameters of heredity and environment exist, but ultimate determination comes from our choices. So that's quite interesting. And for him, so like nature and nurture, for him nurture came first, but then nature still plays its role. Success for Adler is living in peace and harmony with others as best versions of ourselves. Style of life is moulded by people's creative power, which I think is really cool. Personality is unified and self-consistent. A person is an indivisible unit and they're best understood in their totality. What else could I pick up on? Excuse me. Bit of a cough after having my breakfast, my toast. So one of the techniques in Adler's psychology or counselling is acting as if they are the person they would like to be. So it could be acting as if in like a sort of role play sort of thing in the therapy session, or they could actually go and act this out in real life. So that could be, I think an example my lecturer used was if the client is going on a date acting as if they're the person they'd like to be. So I guess it kind of, they're saying fake it till you make it, maybe links to that a bit. And I made a comment that it might not work for everyone because some people can't, I think it would work for a lot of people, but some people can't really imagine even what they would like to be. That can be because of sort of like their mental health issues. Yeah. Sounds interesting. Could run through this in more detail if anyone's interested, or if you want to message, we could talk about this. Striving for superiority was quite a big one for Adler, which is the urge towards perfection or completion that motivates all living organisms, and that's the ultimate goal. It's not an attempt to be better than anyone else, but more striving for perfection. And then there's this idea of fictional finalism, that there is a perceived potential goal that guides our behaviour as we strive towards a complete whole state. Adler called it the guiding self-ideal. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Breath. Social interests is the innate potential to cooperate with others to achieve both personal and societal goals, a community feeling which is also evolutionary. yeah, so basically something Adler's very interested in, how we can strive and self-actualize, which means sort of like striving towards growth and development, but at the same time also how we can do these things and strive and contribute to society. I think I wrote down. He also was big on sort of the equality in the therapeutic relationship, which I think is very important. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, I think. So he inspired Maslow and Rogers. And I think he inspired Rogers' idea of like the self-actualizing tendency. And as I was saying, it was slightly different for Adler, and then Rogers sort of adapted it to his own sort of definition. And breathe. So that was the lecture. Skip through up to this point, please, if you are as interested in the therapy and psychology side. And after the lecture, had some lunch, which is good. Oh yeah, and then actually my stomach was rumbling so much. So it rumbled a bit on normal days, maybe like when I'm in bed in the evening. But for some reason in the lecture, when I say lecture, there's only 10 to 15 of us. So it's quite like a quiet, seminar-y more kind of thing. And we're chatting, and it's, and my stomach was going absolutely crazy. And it seems to always happen, literally every week it will happen during the lecture, the one time where I don't. So I think there's something to be said there for like the body and body psychology and that kind of thing. But yeah, I felt quite anxious. I could feel myself going a bit hot and red because I was so aware of this and self-conscious. But anyway, it's kind of funny because I was just laughing, like, sorry, that's really bad, to people that were near me. And then, so I had lunch and then did skills practice. I volunteered to be the therapist. In my head, going into it, I was like, no, I could just sit back, and I was a client last week, so I wasn't going to volunteer to do that. But then I feel like I just thought, why not? Let's do it. This is what I'm here for. There's no point shying away from it. As much as it's a bit nerve-wracking, I have confidence in myself that I can do it. So I did it, and it was honestly one of the most, I was trying to like define it yesterday, and express it, but it was just an amazing learning experience. It was honestly, I said that I felt very privileged because I won't obviously go into details, but my course mate, who was the client, was speaking about things that were quite were very personal to them and made them feel emotional, and so they were flowing. I'm saying they to kind of like, I don't want to kind of make it in any way identifiable, but so they were sort of flowing very well and very articulate, and although this session was meant to be sort of using all the skills we've learned, so the reflecting, the paraphrasing, the summarizing, the those are the sort of, and then all of like the non-verbal things like the smiling, the nodding, the that kind of thing, whilst also adding in an open-ended question or two. So for example, a closed question would be, did you feel happy? Yes or no? So that they can only answer with yes or no. Whereas an open-ended would be like, how were you feeling during this? So they can't answer it with yes or no. So yeah, I actually only, because it was flowing and I described it after, because it wouldn't have felt congruent and genuine for me, who I was resonating with what the client was saying, although I didn't feel like I would project or like kind of bring that into the room, because I was bracketing it well, which is sort of like understanding that you're having this, but not making the session a reflection of your stuff, more being able to create that divide whilst still empathizing and understanding how the client's feeling, putting yourself in their shoes. But I also felt quite emotional though, but I was able to kind of keep myself in check and understand that I was feeling like this, that's okay, but not acting out in a way that isn't productive. So I ended up not saying, I smiled, I laughed, I nodded, and these were genuine, or at least I felt that way. As much as like when you are thinking, I need to be doing this, it's not always going to be 100%, is it? But I think I then sort of realised, I was thinking, oh no, I need to be showing all these techniques, because I'm doing uni, I'm doing this course, I need to be proving that I can do this. But then I was like, no, this isn't going to be authentic, this isn't going to be me, and this is someone's real life. It's not right, is it? I don't want to just be using this as a, not literally, but like a tick box exercise. So I ended up doing the nodding, the smiling and laughing, as I said, and then I asked one question: how does it feel? I think it was something along the lines of, how does it feel to talk about this? And they responded, and they spoke about that. I spoke to that, but probably not the right use of spoke to that. But then we kind of reflected after the session, and my lecturer said that's kind of like how I would have done it, and I wouldn't have done it a different way. And my course mate said it felt right that you did that, and I felt very proud, and I felt very privileged for being able to share that space with the client, because I was picking up on the fact that they wanted that space to talk about their what was on their mind, their problems, or whatever's going on. I don't want to say problems, but reflecting on maybe things that are difficult for them at the moment. So yeah, I felt it was a really, really good experience. And then I had personal professional development, PPD, afterwards, which was really good. Not much to say on that. It's just, yeah, again, confidential, but it was good. It was a nice chat. And that was kind of the therapy day, really. So yeah, it was honestly amazing. I think I felt very tired at the end, but it was a really, really good experience. And I think it was almost like I don't want to say pivotal moment, because I've had it before where I've had to, I've probably spoken about it right at the start of this channel, but had it before where I have maybe done something which, in the therapy session, which, well, I wasn't using all the skills, or not quite how I thought in my head during that I should be doing, like yesterday, but actually I think it worked out well. So yeah, that's sort of how the day went. How did everyone's Saturday go, and what are you up to today? Me and my girlfriend are in about 5 minutes, so I need to get this uploaded soon. Hopefully I'll try and upload it, start the uploading process. We're going to go to a nice bakery, which we haven't been to before, which would be very nice, and then watch football later, maybe start planning the essay for this course, as opposed to another course. It's the only course I'm doing. But yeah, write an essay for the therapy training, which I'm sure I will speak about at some point. I might not look at it, we'll see. Football comes first, you know. I think there will be some rugby on as well. Is it Italy, France? I'm trying to, maybe. Might watch that. And yeah, have a lovely day, everyone. Take care. Bye.